What is your take on just the fight coming up with Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley? Are you excited about that? And do you think it's going to be different than what people are expecting one way or another? Or
it's entertainment, dude. I can see Dana White going back on his word like he typically does, and signing these YouTubers, because he's a businessman. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like, you build this thing up, you're negative towards it, like just like he was negative about Ronda Rousey, about women's fighting, and just how he was thinking about getting rid of the flyweight division, and then he goes back and he's like, "This is the best thing that's ever happened."
Yeah.
So we're gonna see Jake Paul in the UFC in the next year.
You think so?
Yeah, it's predictable, man. I see Dana, dude. That's like it's all about the money.
You think Jake Paul's good enough now to beat Tyron Woodley?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, he's gonna beat Tyron Woodley. This is the reason why, Mike. And I'm gonna change your perspective here, because boxing and MMA are two different things. Woodley just has an overhand. He's not a combination fighter. He just has that overhand. That overhand is vicious. But with the 8-ounce glove, a 10-ounce glove, you don't have that much power. This kid, Jake Paul, remember, he's a former wrestler. He's from Ohio. He's been wrestling for quite some time. And he's been around some of the best boxers for the last 3 years in the world. He's actually been taking this shit serious. So for that reason, I think Jake Paul's either going to stop him, depending on how, or he's just going to beat him by decision, because the sweet science of boxing is just a different game. I even called it with Ben Askren. I'm like, this kid's going to knock him out within the first or second round. I thought Ben for sure was going to last the round. I was wrong. He knocked him out in the first minute, So that's just the way it is, and that's just the way I see it. Now, it's not that I'm going against MMA. I've done both sports. I've done amateur boxing. That sport is different, bro. You can no longer grapple. It's not just about an overhand. It's different, man. You're going to need some combinations, son.
Well, I'm going with my boy Tyron just because he's my boy, and I know he's been boxing for a long time. I saw him at Wildcard years and years ago, boxing pro level, amateur level fighters. He was here doing pad work, doing great. So, I know he does have boxing training and he's experienced there, but I'm interested to see where Jake's going to be in this fight, because it's a real fight, and hats off to him if he does good and can show that he really is a fighter and he has potential to keep going. I mean, I have no disrespect for Jake if he turns out to be everything that he, presents. Because, I'm telling you, anyone that can do it, you have to have respect for. You can't dog a real fighter, and he's going to be a real fighter if he beats Tyron.
Yeah. But like I said, these are my takes. These are my takes from watching it, and Tyron hasn't done so well. Let's call a spade, man. He's been on the losing streak. You know what I'm saying? There's a chemical imbalance like in his head that has taken him to that level. You know what I'm saying? There's two reasons why my people don't succeed. There's one, they think they're better than what they really are, and then two, it's just a lack of confidence. So it's one or the other, man. He's gonna have to figure that out. Because I remember I seen Woodley when Woodley was on fire, he was on fire, But there's something there's a switch that tends to happen and I believe it happens after your first defeat, your first loss, when you finally see that you're not untouchable. You know what I'm saying? And he's gonna have to figure that out.
Yeah.
And it all goes back to honesty. Am I as good as I think I am? Or is my confidence at that level as what it used to be? Those are the questions that I have for him.